Hey, it's Kish,
And it's Roland here.
and we are in the top 8 of the Bendigo League Cup. So in this round, we've got Jacob on the left playing Decidueye Ninetales versus Andy on the right, who we saw in round 1, piloting the same Zoroark break deck. So both players have done extremely well to make it into top cut. Jacob went undefeated in Swiss with a 302 record, so he is the second seed going into top cut. So he's done very well. Roland, any thoughts on this particular match?
Yeah, well, second seed's a good job. I don't know who made first seed though, but
Yeah, some chump playing
yeah,
Trampa Lycanroc.
I don't know. I don't know about that deck. It seems kind of fishy, but
Yeah.
yeah, no. In all seriousness, it should be a good match. I think, yeah, I think it'll be an interesting matchup. I'd say probably Decidueye might have the edge because, of course, with Zoroark and I mean less so Eevee because you can evolve straight to Umbreon, but you know you've got a lot of basics that are snipe fodder. So
Yeah.
Ninetales does a pretty good job of knocking out Zoruas, and Feather Arrow is really good against this sort of decks. I think Andy plays Flareon, and
He
that's going to
does.
be okay. That's going to be a big help for him. So I mean, I suppose look, actually, maybe the matchup's probably around even then, because I mean, yeah, Decidueye is not going to be a great attacker if it's going to get knocked out in one hit, and you can't
Yeah.
avoid playing your bench down basically.
Yeah.
And even if you did, Umbreon could still knock you out in one hit.
Yeah.
So look, I think realistically, Ninetales is probably going to have to do the heavy lifting in terms of attacking, and you know, Ninetales can be a good attacker, yeah, in getting these snipes, but in terms of dealing with developed attackers, it's probably not as good. Ice Path is very good, but the question is, yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be tough for Andy to just get a straight one hit knockout on Ninetales. So yeah, Ice Path's going to be a really good attack
Yeah.
for Jacob. So I think we'll see Ninetales be the big attacker here.
So we do know that Andy does play Professor Kukui in his deck. So with a full bench and a choice band and a Kukui, he can actually potentially one-hit KO Ninetales. But as you said, probably going to be really difficult. At the same time, he also has options. Decidueye decks generally have to play Shamans and Tapu Leles down, so those could be potential free prizes for Andy. But I would probably give the edge to Jacob just purely from the sniping ability that Decidueye has. So both players starting out here. We'll see who's going first. Looks like Andy's going first, and he starts out with that Oranguru up top and a Zoro on the bench.
Yeah, and speaking of sniping ability, Flareon is not safe from being sniped either.
Yeah.
So, you know, Jacob can knock out a Flareon, and, you know, it might be hard for Andy to get it back immediately into a play, and that means that Jacob can get use out of his Decidueyes. And if Decidueyes aren't getting knocked out in one hit, they're probably going to run a train, honestly, because they've got so much HP and do a lot of damage. But yeah, so Andy attaches double colors. So, yeah, the question is, I mean, obviously he'd really like an Eevee down this turn. Other than that, he's probably not under too much pressure to do a lot. I mean, it's helpful for him to get his basics down so he can evolve them at the soonest possible time so that they have more HP. Because, of course, with the sniping, you know, you want as much HP on your Pokemon as possible, which you get by evolving. Even if you're not using the evolutions immediately,
Yeah.
just having them evolved already is important. And you can only do that if you get the basics down the turn before,
Yeah.
obviously. So, yeah, so it goes to the Tapu Lele here. I was probably just deliberating on sort of... I suspect he probably had another supporter in his hand. He was deliberating on whether he wanted to play the Lele, say, for, like, Bridget or something, or whether he just wanted to, like, Sycamore his entire hand away. Looks like he's grabbing Bridget, so...
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, looking at least one Zorua, one Eevee, of course. Question is, does he get a second Eevee or a third Zorua?
He's going. Looks like he's going for 2 Zoruas and an Eevee.
Yeah, okay.
Where he's deliberating. So the other thing that Jacob plays is Espeon EX. I'm not too sure whether that will come into this matchup or not. Espeon EX, of course, has that miraculous shine attack for a colorless that can devolve all your opponent's highest stage evolutions. So, say a Zoroark has 80 damage on it, miraculous shine comes in, removes the Zoroark, and the Zoro will get knocked out by the residual 80 damage. I don't really think that will come into play, but we'll have to wait and see. So Andy does Bridget. He grabs 2 Eevees and the Zorua, and that's a pretty strong start for him.
Yeah, no, that's a good look, absolutely. He's got his bench full already, so yeah, that's good. And yeah, getting those 2 Eevees, really important. Again, not necessarily because of Umbreon, although actually Umbreon might be quite good in this matchup. Discarding energy is actually quite difficult for Decidueye to deal with in a lot of situations. So even though he doesn't play any other sort of energy disruption cards in his deck, that could actually... Nightcall could be a good attack. But yeah, so Jacob's got an interesting hand. He's got a lot of supporters. He's got a level ball here, so... Yeah, I'm sure he'll want to get... At some point, you know, get Vulpix and Ninetales into play. Does he get that here, though?
Yeah, I mean, something is probably definitely getting knocked out next turn, whether it's the Alolan Vulpix or
Yeah.
a Rowlet, because it doesn't look like Jacob has a Forest in hand. He's got a Dartrix, but no way to evolve the Rowlet without the Forest on the first turn, so he's just searching, seeing what's prized.
Yeah, because of course, Alolan Vulpix is great for its attack. You can search your deck for any 2 Pokemon, and it's a costless attack. So even, yeah, he'll grab it here. The question is, and this is a bit of a dilemma sometimes for these Decidueye Ninetales decks, do you retreat into Vulpix and use the attack? Which actually exposes the Vulpix and means that, well, if it gets knocked out, then you can't get Ninetales on the following turn. Or do you just keep it on the bench and forego getting 2 Pokemon and let, the Rowlet or whatever get knocked out instead? So he's going to have to make that decision, most likely.
And he does have the Alolan Ninetales in hand, so if he Sycamores... Okay, so I'm not too sure what his list plays, but normally I think Decidueye Ninetales decks don't run Rescue Stretcher or anything like that because you can Hollow Hunt and also Revitalizer, so he might not have access to Ninetales throughout this game.
I think, I've seen a few lists play Rescue Stretcher. Yeah, look, I don't know whether his does, but it's not too out of the ordinary for them to play it, I don't think. But okay, crucially for him, gets a Forest Giant Plants into play. He could get the Decidueye this turn, and that would actually be really big for him. But he's only got an Ultra Ball, so the thing is that, yeah, okay, so he's just going to retreat. And... yeah, see, he could Ultra Ball, but unfortunately for him, that would require him to discard both of his energy or his only supporter and an energy, neither of which he really wants to do.
Yeah.
So I suppose knowing that, and knowing that he can't evolve to Decidueye unless he wants to burn all those cards, he'd rather sacrifice an Alolan Vulpix than a Dartrix, and also this allows him to get more Pokemon, but yeah, of course, it means that he can't get at Alolan Ninetales anytime soon. Not that it would be easy, because as you said, a Ninetales has already been discarded, so yeah, just going to beacon here and grab... I didn't quite catch those.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch them either. It looks like a Decidueye and a Shaman.
Decidueye and Shaman, yeah.
Okay, so Andy has a pretty strong hand. He's got a Zoroark out and an Umbreon GX out. So he's going all guns blazing here. He even has the Floatstone.
Yeah, this is a bit awkward for him though, because my Hijack's only doing 40 damage. That's not even enough to knock out the Vulpix. So I was talking about like it was a foregone conclusion, but really it's actually not. And yeah, he's actually not going to be able to knock it out. I mean, that's the thing with Zoroark. It is obviously dependent on what your opponent does, and even Umbreon, you could stray for 30. I mean, obviously that's not going to get the job done. If only get Zoroark breaks, or get a copy Beacon. Yeah, that's what this match is going to come down to.
Alright, yeah, so he might just be forced to pass here.
You probably wouldn't mind Jack, especially because you know he's got the Shaman. Jacob's got the Shaman, so he's going to get at least more than one bench Pokemon down, so if you wanted to mind Jack in the following turn, you could knock it out. The only reason you would want to hit it is if you anticipate him evolving to a Alolan Ninetales, and anyone gets some damage on it early, but he's already seen the Ninetales discard. It's going to be interesting to see whether he does that.
He can always strafe.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah, because now he did get that Floatstone, so it's always interesting with this deck whether you want to put the Floatstones on Zoroark, which give everything for a retreat, but the problem is since Zoroark's one of your attackers, you always want, well, not always, but you often want Choice Band on it, so there's a bit of a dilemma, but ultimately decided to put it on Oranguru, and got the Strafe off for 30, doesn't have to put the Zoroark in harm's way. Not that it really would have been, actually, but... because, of course, Ninetales with the DC can hit anything for 50, but no, it's probably a good idea. This is probably safer,
So Jacob commits a DCE to that Vulpix, so that probably means he's got access to another Alolan Ninetales. He must play a 2-2 line.
Yeah, a lot of lists seem to play 2-1, but I think 2-2 is something that these decks could easily play. I think I might have seen the second Ninetales in his deck. Don't quote me on that. Don't know with that, but I think so. Yeah, at any rate, it seems like he feels comfortable that he has that in his deck, and we'll see here.
So
many shiny cards. Oh, yeah, there we are. Yeah. So it does indeed have it.
So it'll be interesting where he decides to put this snipe damage. He might just snipe out that Eevee, fearing a Flareon come down.
Yeah,
Decidueye's Feather Arrow and Ninetales attack that will do the requisite damage to knock out that Eevee.
Yeah, that's a really strong play. Flareon, because you obviously need the Eevee down the turn before. You can't energy evolution to Flareon, so if you just keep those Eevees out of play, yeah, Decidueye could become a good attacker later on. The problem for Jacob here is he's already discarded 2 grass, and as you can see, Super Rod actually that's not a card that's no recovery, the recovery card of choice normally for Decidueye, but comes in clutch there.
Yeah,
a rescue stretcher would not have helped him there, particularly no. So yeah, that's actually huge. So he's forget his energy troubles. That's going to help out a lot. So yeah, so a Razor Leaf could be on the card soon. He's got a DC in his hand as well. So yeah, looking healthy for him. Would have liked another Decidueye. Obviously, he always want as many as he can get. So okay, it's good to choose the Feather out of the Umbreon, sensing that as a potential threat.
Well, he benched the Espeon EX, sorry. So he may be just trying to spread damage and then planning to devolve everything in one big turn.
Yeah, absolutely. So the only issue is that when you devolve Umbreon GX to Eevee, you only get 1 prize. So like you're essentially doing 140 damage. You're moving 200 HP to 60 HP, but the problem in doing so, you actually give up like taking a prize. Yeah.
So Andy's actually got a Professor Kukui in hand. If he can find a choice band, that Ninetales is actually getting knocked out by Mind Jack.
Absolutely, that'll do exactly enough damage there.
So I think he's debating whether to play the Kukui to try and rip the choice band.
Yeah, odds not good, but it's doable. It's doable. Yeah, I mean, because okay, interesting. So he attaches a Dark Zoroark. Oh, he plays the Kukui.
Oh, he rips the choice band off the Kukui. Oh, that Ninetales is going down.
We have a winner. Ding ding. Oh. Yeah, well, that's everything he could have hoped for there. So he's going to be able to hit for exactly 180 damage. So 130 plus 30 plus 20. That is plus the 30 already on Ninetales. That is 210.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jacob really didn't want to see that, because now his hopes of getting Ninetales out are more or less gone. He's got 2 Ninetales in the discard and Super Rod gone. So anything short of a Holler Hunt is pretty much, that's the last we'll see of good old Ninetales. And for Andy, he's still got the Eevee in play, so he can threaten Flareon. So that's something that Jake's going to need to deal with.
So Andy foul playing Blizzard Edge from Ninetales with the Kukui, does the requisite damage.
Oh, actually, sorry,
The interesting thing here is that Zoroark Break cannot benefit from Flareon because it's not a stage 1, it's a break, so that Zoroark on the bench is the only thing that would benefit. I guess the Umbreon as well, actually, now that I think about it, so never mind. So Jacob Ultra Balling here.
Yeah, of course, I didn't even consider the foul playing Blizzard Edge. Oh, yeah no, but that's actually really handy in this matchup.
So
gets a second Decidueye.
I mean, if Andy can get out that flare... Ooh. So Jacob forced to bench a 4th Pokemon, which is not ideal. Because it means, especially being a Shaman, because it means that those are easy prizes for Andy. And he can even potentially knock out the Espeon. And there's a 5th Pokemon even, so that Espeon could get KO'd by Mind Jack.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be brutal. And as you say, 2 easy prizes, so... Yeah, even just a Lysander would... I mean, 2 Lysanders, and then that's pretty much the game, so... A precarious position here.
So, Jacob hasn't played a supporter yet. He's debating to Lysander.
Yeah.
Of course, that doesn't do too much against Zoroark, because they can just stand in at any time if you're trying to Lysander if it's stall. And he can't... That devolve of that Zoroark on the bench, which he just put 40 on, is not going to knock it out. And as you said, he devolves the Eevee, which only gives him 1 prize. And Andy's in a really strong position here. He can one-hit KO that Espeon.
Really
in a choice band or a Kukui.
Yeah, unfortunately, Espeon doesn't have an attack that's easily foul played. He could devolve all the Decidueyes, but that's probably not going to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
So again, just a Kukui or choice band, because he didn't have to play the choice band last turn.
No, he didn't.
So he had it in his hand. So yeah, absolutely, there it is. No surprise, and actually, deliberating the evolution to Umbreon. but I think realizing that he wants to keep that open for Flareon, but yeah.
Ooh. And Hexmaniac comes down, so no more Feather Arrows will be raining next turn for Jacob.
Yeah, the only issue here is that he can't use stand-in now.
Yep, and I think he's just realised that, so
The
his hands on head moment.
Oh.
So order of play there coming back to bite Andy, and he has to pass.
He has to just pass. Look, I think we've all done something like that. Yeah, we just mess up your order slightly.
Yeah.
And then it's like, the card that would have prevented my opponent from doing something prevents me from doing the very thing that I need to do to close out this turn. Yeah, look, I mean, we've all done it at some stage.
Yeah.
It just happened that this one was in top 8 on camera,
but that could be quite a misstep. I hope that doesn't cost Andy the game, because he would have been in a really dominant position had he just knocked out that Espeon, 2 prizes.
Yeah, because crucially, I mean, Jacob wouldn't have had any way to respond immediately. All he would have been able to do is, maybe Hollow Hunt. He wouldn't have actually been able to attack. Now he's got the chance to get energy on board. Yeah. He's got a DCE onto that Decidueye. Just one more DCE, and that's going to be ready to attack.
Mm-hmm.
And and actually looks like he could make a comeback for sure. But I mean, at least the Hexmaniac prevents him from Andy's side. He doesn't have to deal with any Feather Arrows this turn. So there's only so much that Jacob can do right now.
But as you said, just that extra energy attachment might be the difference. Jacob can Hollow Hunt here, although with the Flareon.
Yeah, this is a bit risky, but I mean, this sort of wasn't really a good option for Jacob here. He could have retreated to Rowlet just to try and give up a 1 prize attacker. That's, I mean, but yeah. Ooh, okay, Fill Blight. That could be important. Getting rid of Choice Band could be nice. Float Zone probably not as relevant, but it is a bit risky. I mean, Hollow Hunt, it's great. It's great. You get any 3 cards. That's obviously a fantastic attack. But if this Decidueye goes down, you got to think that that's really, really rough. That's like almost game-ending rough.
Because it is at this point his only attacker. It's the only thing. Espeon's not doing much, just evolving with only 1 Feather Arrow going. So if we see a Flareon from Andy here, he's got a VS Seeker, so he's got access to more cards, got access to supporters. So if that Flareon comes down, I think that should be pretty much the game wrapped up for him.
Yeah, it just needs an Ultra Ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he's really played like many Ultra Ball. I could be wrong, but so I think his odds of finding Flareon should be pretty good, assuming it's in the deck. So yeah, he's just going to go for it with Sycamore. I mean, I suppose, he basically just has to go for it with Sycamore, which he does.
Yep. So he unfortunately has to discard 2 VS Seekers.
Yeah, and an Eevee, actually, which might be unfortunate. But, yeah. I suppose, probably Eevee's probably not too important, but...
So Andy does find an Ultra Ball. There's one in hand.
Yep, there we are. That nice red and black card. 3 from the left, I believe. In case you want to see it, but it'll come down soon enough. Yep, there we are. Yeah, so is it in deck? Jacob probably sweating here. He probably always suspected it, but yeah, exactly. And there we go. There's confirmation. The red card is coming down.
Yeah.
And Jacob just nodding there. He's realised. That's not good.
So, possibly didn't know that Andy was playing Flareon, but knowing that your opponent plays EVs, you should always fear those evolutions because they're too easy to include in the deck. Things like Flareon and Vaporeon and even Jolteon. But so we're going to see a Mind Jack come down here for...
And that's going to do...
300
Oh, wait. No, it won't.
No.
This is not a stage 1.
It's not a stage 1. You're right. My earlier point. And
no, he shouldn't have evolved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he had the option not to evolve into the break.
Absolutely, it was a Zoroark. So, of course, one thing here that's actually a kind of an obscure rule that probably not many people actually know is that the Flareon, all the evolution types, like, they affect stage 1s, but stage 1 breaks are not stage 1s.
Yeah, and I don't think either players realise this, so this is really
that should not have been a knockout. That evolutions do not apply the type change to stage 1 breaks.
So...
Look, I think probably in the scheme of things, I mean, actually, no, that was a big one.
Yeah, that's fairly large.
Actually, I don't think that's something that Yeah.
It's definitely influenced the game. So,
I mean, look, if they'd known about it, I mean, Andy just wouldn't have evolved. Like,
Yeah.
he could have easily just not evolved. But I mean, I suppose given that he did that, yes, it does make a big difference as to whether they got knocked out or not. But anyway, we'll roll on. We'll see what happens. And let's just put that behind us, I think.
Yep. So, hopefully the players realise at some point, and we won't see it affect the rest of the match. But in
You
any
get to
case,
a point where it becomes kind of irreversible.
yeah. As in, like, the future games.
Oh, right, yeah.
If they're assuming type change for this game, I think this game's done and dusted.
Yeah.
So, Jacob ends. He's got a double colourless on the Decidueye, but he doesn't have anything to sacrifice at this point.
No, so all his prizes are... Sorry, all his Pokemon are 2 prize attackers.
Yeah.
The only things that... Well, the Espeon's the only thing that can survive a hit here. And it might, but it relies on... I mean, it relies on Eddie not getting a choice band in Kukui, which is reasonable, I guess. So, yeah, look, I suppose he can hold out for at least one more turn here.
So, Jacob debating whether or not to play that Tapu Lele. Probably not necessary, given he's already played a supporter for the turn.
No,
that
I
would
definitely
give Jacob
shouldn't
a
do
win
that.
condition.
No, definitely shouldn't do that.
So,
Because, that would mean that that Andy just needs either a Kukui or a choice band, so it makes it a lot easier. Of course, the Lysander here already wins it for Andy, so it seems like unless he draws terribly, which with Oranguru is unlikely, we won't really see... Yeah, probably see him come out on top. So we see its evolution here. Sort of like not much of a point to that, I suppose.
No, definitely not. And
because Andy could just evolve all of those again.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're only providing with more options. I mean, even though you probably will just evolve all of them, but like, yeah, I probably shouldn't evolution spray in that situation, but probably not going to be too relevant. Let's see if he has the Lysander or anything like that. He's re-evolved the Flareon.
Yeah. So now type change is active.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So Andy just debating what to do. He might have an Ultra Ball trying to thin his hand down to instruct.
Yeah, and I suppose, the other thing is Devolution Spray. Yeah, it gives him an opportunity, to potentially Ultra Ball away. It gives him other Ultra Ball targets. So
Yeah. So
he's probably not going to grab anything unless he can. I think he can evolve that to Zoroark. Actually, he can. So yeah, he'll evolve that, and he can instruct for 2. Actually, no, 3, because I think the last gun in his hand is. Oh no, he just got a 2 breaks.
Yeah, he just got a 2 breaks. Okay, so Super Odd. Okay.
Alright, so he's going to be able to instruct for the full 3 here.
So, putting back energy, always good, because he's still only got 3 energy on board, so don't mind that play at all. So he's going to instruct for the full 3. His outs here are Lysander Kukui, not Lysander Kukui, Choice Band Kukui, or Lysander.
Yeah, and even if he whiffs, he's probably in decent shape, realistically. But obviously he'd love to get this game done and dusted with. Here we are, 3 cards.
So
and doesn't look like you got the win condition right there, unless you're just counting everything and making sure.
So yeah, unfortunately can't see what's in Andy's hand. So we just have to wait and see what he's thinking of doing here.
We haven't developed that technology yet.
Yeah.
To see what's in their hand. We definitely haven't developed the technology to know what they're thinking. That's probably beyond the human endeavors at this point.
All right. So just weighing up his options here.
Yeah. So he might have really drawn nothing, and he's deciding what do I attack with.
Yeah, because if that Zoroark's going down to a Feather Arrow next turn.
Yeah. Or it could actually go down to the well, actually no. There's no way that Jacob would leave there to be inactive, but
yeah.
So he pretty much can't really use the Devolution attack at this point. So he's okay. So yeah, Andy probably realizes at this point that Jacob is going to attack with the Decidueye.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, like, yeah, I mean, we'll see this once it gets to Jacob's turn. But what's Jacob going to attack with? Because if he attacks with the Decidueye, that's just going to get knocked out because of Flareon and
Yeah.
Espeon can't stay active because Espeon's going to get hit for 130 at least right now. So we'll see what happens there. So, but I mean, look, Andy just sort of covering all bases. You know, just thinking, okay, what's the worst case scenario? You know, what if something goes wrong? You know,
So,
what's my optimal plan here?
yeah.
Yep, just hits for 130 damage.
And I don't think there's a way back for Jacob at this point. He doesn't have enough feather arrows to devolve everything and knock it out. And Andy's got his energy set up nicely on the bench, so of course these are 75-minute rounds, so no sense in scooping here. There's probably plenty of time for 3 games in 75 minutes.
Yeah, good old 75 minutes. That is
Yeah.
our saviour.
And also great to get information on your opponent's deck if you're not 100% sure exactly what's in their deck. Playing out games can give you that extra bit of information which might be useful later on. So we're going to see a feather arrow come down here. And what can Jacob do?
Yeah, so sends out Oranguru, you know, but of course, yeah, that can't get stranded there. You know, okay, so even if Jacob were to draw a field blow, of course, stand-in just gets around that. So this does kind of seem like... Well, actually, no, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait, does he have a Lysander? Wait, can he...
He might be able to knock out the Flareon.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, but it doesn't look like...
No, he's got a Hex. Oh, Hex is actually very useful. That turns off
Hex
Flareon.
actually... Oh, of course, yeah, Hex does the same thing. Well, at least for a turn.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Jacob's going to be able to survive at least one more turn here. Yep, and just raise Leaf for 90. Okay, so he's got some life left, actually.
Yeah. That Hex was massive.
Yeah. And it well, also, it prevents standing. But, sorry, the Oranguru is spiritual anyway, so that's irrelevant. But turning off Flare Effect, absolutely huge. So this Decidueye, it's going to be able to live one turn. And that might be enough. That might possibly be enough for him to get back. It still might be difficult, though, because on Jacob's following turn, is he going to be able to knock out 2 Zoroarks in one go? Probably not, and that's probably what he would need to do. But look, we'll see what Andy has here. Of course, again, a Lysander from him wins the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or of course he could play Pokemon Ranger to nullify the effect of Hex Maniac. That's definitely a thing.
Don't listen to Roland, kids. That does not work.
What are you talking about? Oh.
Memes. Alright, so Andy just deciding where he wants to commit this double colorless, whether it's to the Tapu Lele or to the Zoroark. So he attaches to the Lele. Okay, so he's going to come in and Mind Jack for another 130. What do you think about that energy attachment to the Tapu Lele there, Roland?
I think that if you just have 2 Zoroarks powered up,
Yeah.
you just win the game. So I think I'd probably prefer to have seen it on the Zoroark. I mean, I can
Yeah.
understand why he attached to the Lele, because attaching a DC to Zoroark's kind of inefficient, but I think ultimately in this game, if you just guarantee power up 2 Zoroarks,
Yeah.
you know you're going to win. Here, there is a slim chance that he could lose, because if this active Zoroark gets knocked out, and then he doesn't get another energy onto his other Zoroark, he could possibly lose. It's unlikely, but it opens the door.
So Jacob's got an Ultra Ball. I'm not sure whether he has any support Pokemon left, like Tapu Lele or Shamans. He will need to draw some kind of supporter here. Probably Anna, I would think, to try and stop Andy from getting that Zoroark, getting that energy.
But yeah, Oranguru is just very strong. That's gonna.
But that's been knocked out now.
No! What am I talking about? That's gone. Get that out of here. Get that stupid monkey out of here. And now, an Enter 2 could be disruptive. I actually don't know how big Andy's hand is. It doesn't look like it's actually particularly big at the moment. And he didn't play supporter last turn.
No.
So he might not even need to end to get the full effect.
Yeah. So, crucially, that Tapu Lele is not actually knocking out this Decidueye. It's going to fall painfully
No.
10 damage short.
Absolutely. So again, Andy's going to need another energy, or a Zoroark break would actually do it.
Yeah.
Because he'd be able to copy Razor Leaf, of course, with the Flareon effect as well. So yeah, it doesn't look like he's got too many options in his hand. What is that psychic Pokemon? I think he does have a Lele.
So he scoops the game. I think Slalo was prized, looks like.
Interesting. Actually scoops the game. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, look, definitely, Andy was definitely in control, really towards the end there, and yeah, no, scooping the game. I think that's fine. I mean, even with 75 minutes, it is definitely possible to still run to time. Although of course it's a top cut game, so you can't tie obviously. So even if it does go to time, it's not a devastating outcome because someone's got to win anyway. So yeah, but as the Decidueye player, you probably don't want games to be decided in a short amount of time because you are going to bleed prizes early most of the time. So yeah, I think it's actually not a bad decision to scoop if you're pretty sure that you're going to lose.
Yeah. So what do you think Jacob's strategy should be going into game 2 here? Target down those EVs early?
Yeah, I think he just needs to get rid of that Flareon. That was the turning point. Being able to knock out a Decidueye in one hit, that's the difference between a Decidueye getting another turn of attacking, which is huge, because they're not easy to power up. They take 2 specific energy requirements to do so. You need a Grass, you need a DCE, and it gives you an extra turn of another Feather Arrow, and obviously you're taking prizes at a slower rate if you're 2 carrying Decidueye, obviously. So yeah, massive. That's like the difference between winning or losing. So if you can just target down those EVs, a knockout Flareon is going to come into play. And he didn't also get that much mileage out of Ninetales, because I was talking about how that would be big. He didn't really get as much mileage out of it as we thought, because of those unfortunate discards and the fact that Ninetales got a bit of damage on it early, so and he was able to finish it off relatively easily. That being said, even an undamaged Ninetales, as I learned or was reminded of, Zoroark Break can copy Blizzard Edge to 160 damage base. With a Choice Band and a Kukui, that will 1-hit KO a fresh Ninetales. So even a fresh Ninetales isn't totally safe, but it's safer than Decidueye, at least until you can get rid of Flareon. So use Ninetales, get rid of Flareon, allow that to tank, possibly his Ice Path at some point, and then kind of sweep it with Decidueye. That's probably what he wants to do.
And I feel like Espeon was fairly useless in this matchup.
Yeah,
it's a little bit too slow. It requires a little bit a few too many Feather Arrows for it to be really effective. It can come in clutch for certain players to devolve, say, 1 Pokemon or maybe 2, but being able to devolve all of your opponent's Pokemon is a little bit unrealistic, I think, and possibly should focus more on the Ninetales, I think, as you said. So Jacob's starting game 2. He does start with the Alolan Vulpix, which is pretty nice, so he could potentially get turn 2 Ninetales going.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, Andy's deck isn't something that can really threaten on turn 1. I mean, most decks in the format actually can't at the moment, but I suppose some decks can. But yeah, so basically that Vulpix is going to be safe. So he could just beacon for, if he doesn't already have a Ninetales, he could just beacon for Ninetales and something else. And yeah, he can get that turn to Ninetales and really put on the pressure here. He's got a Forest, he's got a Rowlet.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit here. He could get out 1 Decidueye, maybe 2, and just put on the pressure. Hey, he could donk Andy with 3 Decidueye right now.
He could.
That's something I haven't seen in a while, but
that's
always fun. That's great to be coming up against as the opposing player. But yeah, fun and fair.
Yeah. So he does have a Sycamore in hand, so that's great for Jacob.
Yeah, did have to use the Super Rod, which has been unfortunate, but not the end of the world.
So let's see.
Ooh, that looks like a pretty good hand.
Yep, that is a good hand. So
yeah,
he has got Decidueye.
Decidueye, great, so he's going to get 20 damage for free. 20 damage on an EV is like the best 20 damage you can get.
So yeah, so that EV will be in range of either 2 more Feather Arrows or an Ice Blade from Ninetales next turn. So really good start here from Jacob, and he does even have a follow-up supporter for the following turn. It'll be interesting to see where he commits this Grass Energy. And
look, yeah, probably. Of course, because he can. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Also, it might depend on how many DCE he has in his deck. But okay, he's decided to put on the Decidueye, so he's going to need a double Culls next turn in order to evolve to Ninetales and get the snipe off. Yeah. Okay, Bridget, always a really good first turn supporter.
Yep.
So what does he grab here? So I'm sensing he'll probably grab like 2 Zoroark and an Eevee. Probably safe bet, but I mean he could even do something like he could maybe sort of go the Umbreon route and maybe sort of try and focus on that. Maybe he senses that using Umbreon's GX attack actually might help him in a situation where Jacob's actually set up really well.
Yeah.
So so it's more of a defensive move. Like, okay, so let's just say Jacob evolves and plays the DC on Ninetales, which is probably going to happen in all likelihood. Discarding a DC in the grass, but Dramper, we have not seen that at all. I just want to point that out. You're not seeing it wrong. That is indeed a full art Dramper.
Yeah.
So we didn't see that at all in the first round.
No. And I actually really like this from Andy.
Yeah.
Because if Jacob wants to feather arrow or snipe around the board, he's going to have to take 150 in return.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, and he's attaching the double colors. Did he just put that in his deck for top cut? Is there a deck check here? And when I say first round, I actually meant the first time we had him on camera. I didn't even just mean the round that just happened then. We didn't see a Dramper at all. Or maybe if we did, I completely forgot about it. But that's going to be really good. It's also going to discard double colorless energies off of Ninetales. So that's going to pressure Jacob's energy, particularly as he's discarded a Super Rod already. That could be huge.
Yeah.
And as you said, 150 damage is really good if the bench is damaged at all. Bit of a painful Sycamore there from Jacob. I mean, not the end of the world, but you never want to discard like another Sycamore and a Versus Seeker, but yeah, not the end of the world. What's down Espeon?
I think just to try and draw more cards with Shaman, but that is might come back to bite him.
absolutely.
Mind Jack doing extra 30 damage.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing sort of a more conservative play, especially when you're ahead. I think, if you're sort of in that driver's seat sort of position, you don't want to open up, Lysander on Espeon knockout, Lysander on Shaman knockout, because that's always a way that your opponent can come back.
Yeah.
Especially,
Yeah, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, particularly as you might be able to take Flareons out of play. So you might say, okay, I've got Flareon out of play, he can't knock out my Decidueyes, I'm good to go. And then he just gets Lysanders for full prizes. That's not something that you want. But yeah, so just actually, takes a knockout just with Feather Arrows on that damaged Eevee. Now, bit of a tough decision here. What does Andy send up? He sends up another Eevee.
Yeah. So that's a really tough decision because you don't know what's in Jacob's hand.
Yeah, you've got no idea what's in his hand.
Because
of course, if you send up... Oh, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but Jacob just beacons, but yeah.
Okay, yeah, just beacons, yeah. And the problem is you don't want to send out something with a big retreat cost because then it could just get stuck up there.
Yeah.
Which could happen now, but we'll see. Okay, so he's just going to evolve to Umbreon. Actually, it's Sycamore another one away, so yeah.
Yeah.
And he'll probably have to just strafe this turn.
Yeah.
So he does have a Float Stone, so he could do something else if he chooses. Yeah, if he really wants to, he could Float Stone the active and attach another energy to the Dramper and just knock out the Vulpix. The only issue with that is that none of his bench is damaged, so on the following turn that's what he's decided to do here. So he's just going to take the knockout here, doesn't want any of this. And because, of course, everything in the Decidueye deck, all the other evolutions aside from Ninetales, they can evolve immediately to Forest of Giant Plant, but Vulpix can't evolve to Ninetales, obviously, it's not a grass Pokemon. So, so Ninetales isn't going to come out soon if he does this. So I can totally understand his play, and that's actually a bit devastating for Jacob.
Yeah, I really like this play from Andy because it basically forces Jacob to A, not snipe the bench, and B, if he wants to attack with Decidueye, he might lose a double colorless for doing so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Putting Jacob in really tough spots here.
The only issue is actually he could just straight up knock out an Eevee or a Zoroark. Yeah. He's got 3 Feather Arrows, so that's not going to leave any residual damage on the bench. So he can actually get knockouts on the bench while still doing
So that third Decidueye was massive there.
Yeah.
So,
but it does send out the Espeon. I'm not sure if he necessarily intends to attack with it. He might just be throwing it up there as sort of a wall. But we will see.
Yeah.
Okay, then we do see a Revitalizer, so plays both Revitalizer and Super Rod does Jacob.
So Jacob going for the 4th Decidueye here. Not sure how much I like that play. Because he has filled his bench up again.
For Decidueye or bust. You gotta have 4 Decidueye. You play 4-4-4, right? Why would you not get 4 out? It's that simple, mate.
So now this
but the question is,
Espeon
does he have
can
it
be
in his
knocked
deck?
out.
Yeah, exactly. This Espeon can be knocked out now. So he's attached the energy to Espeon. That Devolution attack is going to do not a whole lot.
No.
He knocks out Eevee with 3 Feather Arrows, but I'm not sure why he attached the energy to the active.
I hope he doesn't devolve here, and he doesn't, thankfully, because that would have opened the door for Flareon to come down.
Absolutely, yeah, because of course he could replace the Umbreon with Flareon. Yeah, I don't know why he attached the energy to the active, because the active could go down.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have attached the double colors to the bench and just passed.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, look, because of course it's just a DC and a Zoroark and either a Kukui or a Choice Band will be a knockout here.
So, Andy's got a Hex.
Okay, got a Hex, that's big.
Yep.
It doesn't look like he's got much else.
No. He's got a Choice Band. Not sure if he'll want to commit that now. He does play 4, I believe, so even an 80 damage Berserk with a Choice Band can one-hit KO a Shaman at some point, so I'm not sure if that'll come into play or not, but it is an option for Andy in the future. And he just hexes, no stand-ins this time, and yeah, so he's gonna Berserk for 110 here.
Yeah, so he's not going to be able to have an explosive turn, but he's going to at least be able to damage this Espeon.
Yeah.
Set it up for a future knockout.
And
yeah, and so I mean, really, the brunt of Jacob's offense is coming from Feather Arrows. He's getting 60 damage every turn, so that Hex Maniac's really big for him.
Yeah.
So we'll probably see a Razor Leaf here. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, Jacob can't really stall for another turn. I mean, he can, but where does that really leave him? He's probably just going to have to go on the offense here.
Okay, so he's targeting down the
Zorua. Gets
Zoruas.
discarded, but yeah. Okay, so he's actually going to Lysander out Zorua.
Not sure how much I like this. Although, yeah, no, it's definitely defensible. Zoroark is a pretty big threat at this point with a full bench, so
yeah, and they're just easy prizes.
Yeah.
Like, you're not necessarily going to be able to come across prizes that easy later on in the game. So take the easy prizes now, and you can take the harder prizes later.
Okay.
So and enter 3 here. That'll actually probably be pretty disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Andy will be drawing 5 cards, so he's drawing a healthy amount for himself.
So Andy can Berserk and then follow up with a Mind Jack the following turn if he needs to. Berserk not 2-hit KOing Decidueye at this stage, it's only doing 110. But I think Andy really just wants to see some Zoroarks at this point. And he does have an Ultra Ball, so he will be able to find them. And he's even got a Zoroark in hand, so this is pretty good from Andy. Okay, so he does Ultra Ball, probably going to find a Zoroark, and both those Zoruas are going to evolve up, so that's a really nice turn from Andy. A good draw off that Enter 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, he can threaten Mind Jack next turn.
Yeah, he can, but I mean, the thing is that it's unsafe for him to put down Eevee, so he's not really going to be able to threaten Flareon at all this game, so he's going to have to be content with getting 2 KOs. And he's got the decision of whether he wants to Righteous Edge and get rid of the DCE or just Berserk for 80. Probably Berserk for 80 is the better option.
Yeah, it'll be 110 with the Choice Band.
Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, it's 50 versus 110, but... Well, actually, yeah, because if you're for 50, then... Actually, no, I think Righteous Edge is probably the better option here. Because, yeah, you can hit for 50, so Decidueye will have 190 HP left. And because there's a full bench, that means Mind Jack with the Choice Band will actually get a 1-hit knockout. So,
that's right.
Yeah, so actually you may as well discard the DC in the process, I think. And it is possible that he runs Jacob out of energy. at some point in the game. Not right now, but it is possible that with the DCE discard here, then Jacob has to attach another energy, another DCE. Then once you knock out Decidueye, then you follow up with like a Night Call or something with Umbreon. It is possible.
And so that's what Andy goes for. He goes for the Righteous Edge. So a really nice play there from him.
Yep. So that's going to set up the Decidueye very, very nicely for the following turn. Yeah,
okay.
One thing to notice, I don't think that Jacob plays Choice Band, but
no, he might not. Jacob unfortunately has to refresh Andy's hand. Andy was down to 1 card. Andy's going to be drawing 5 off this end to Jacob's 3. So that Righteous Edge really disruptive there.
Yeah, where was the Delinquent? That would have been cool. So it's looking unlikely that he's going to draw a DC off 3 cards. I mean, the thing with Decidueye is always your fallback. No matter how bad things are, you can always just Feather Arrow.
Yeah.
And then that's like not going to be. It's not going to be terrible doing that, but it's not really going to be ideal. He doesn't have any super cheap prizes like he did before. He's not going to be able to triple snipe a Zoroark or an Eevee for a knockout.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to work for his knockouts at this point.
So I think he's just got a Feather Arrow onto Dramper right here. Oh, his deck's full of energy, so you'd have to think he'll eventually find some.
Yeah.
But
most likely.
Can he last long enough to do so? Because he's under a bit of pressure at this point.
Once the Decidueye start getting knocked out, your Feather Arrows keep decreasing. One gets knocked out, you're down to 2. Another one gets knocked out, you're down to 1. And another one gets knocked out and you've lost the game. So.
Okay, so he's deciding where to put these Feather Arrows.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have to be too worried about like powering up Berserk, because Berserk's actually not going to be able to get a knockout even with the extra 70 damage, and also Zoroark would be a better attacker anyway. But
with a Kukui, technically.
With the Kukui, I suppose. Yeah, that's fair enough. But the point is, he can get knocked out even regardless of whether Berserk is doing 150 base or not, because of course Zoroark can get a knockout. So, look, he still might choose to target the active. That's probably still not a bad option by any means, but yes, and he'll look to be using Hollow Hunt this turn.
Yep. So that's what he does. So probably going to grab some energy and maybe possibly a Revitalizer if he has one, anticipating a knockout, and maybe a supporter. Okay, so he's grabbing an Ultra Ball. So the 4th Decidueye must be in deck.
Yeah, that's that kind of reveals what he has. Yeah, you must be sure that the last one's not prized in his last 3 prizes, but I mean the finish line's relatively close for him. He's just going to knock out that Dramper and then 1 more attacker. Doesn't have to be a 2-prize attacker. Then he can win the game. But those 3 prizes are going to be very tough to get. So yeah, gets Double Colors, Super Rod, and it was Ultra Ball was the last.
Yeah.
I think
So let's see. Okay, so Andy has a Zoroark Break. That's a nice HP buff for him. That prevents a Razor Leaf, Feather Arrow knockout.
Yeah, that was the only sort of... Well, I suppose, triple Razor Leaf could still do it, but if he's going to get a knockout here... Well, I suppose, no, he could get triple Razor Leaf, because the other Decidueye could come out, but it's always good to get that extra HP, just make them Feather Arrow you. Kids are not Feather Arrowing something else. And he's going to get another Zoroark Break, which is also good. Question is, do to get a supporter?
Yeah, a Double Colors will be huge for Andy here.
Yeah, even just Double Colors. Even if all he got was the Double Colors and those other cards, he would still be happy with that. Does he get it?
Looks like he has a Choice Band. Don't know what his last card is. Okay, it's a Sycamore.
Oh, Sycamore, yeah.
So clean Sycamore for Andy, really nice.
A welcome sight, I'm sure.
And he does find the Double Colors.
Yeah, the Double Colors. That is huge. So he's going to be able to go down to... Well, he's been a bit slower taking prizes this game, so he'll be able to even up the prize count, 3-3.
Yep.
But...
Okay.
Yeah, it'll make it a relatively even game.
Yeah, and he gets the Iron Guru down, so... end-proofing himself a little bit. And going to Mind Jack for the KO here. So he does have 2 free prizes in Espeon and Shaman on the board. Oh, 4 free prizes, rather.
Yeah, so he could close out the game just with consecutive Ice Sanders if he can do that.
Okay. So we do see a Mind Jack for KO here.
enough there.
Okay, so Jacob, that's why I grabbed the Super Rod to shuffle the Decidueye back in so he could Ultra Ball for it.
Poor old Ninetales hasn't seen the field in any of these games. It's only seen the discard.
Ultra Ball fodder.
Yeah, that's what it's there for. But yep, getting out that third Decidueye, so he's back in action. He's back having 3 Decidueyes in play. And now he can knock out this active Zoroark break. But he's not there. Oh, no, sorry. No, he can't because he can't Razor Leaf, of course.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it. That's the thing. He's out of energy. And he's not going to be able to... Yeah, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot, really.
No.
And this is the awkward thing with Decidueye is you kind of need... You need 2 attachments to get off a real attack.
Yeah.
Of course, Ninetales can do it with just a DCE, but of course, as we've talked about before, that Ninetales is a long way away from being active, and he'll probably just have to pass with the Decidueye active, I'm guessing, this turn. Like, probably this Decidueye with a Float Stone, it might pass active with.
He's still not in a terrible position. He can Feather Arrow, get off a few Feather Arrows, eventually KO that Drampa, and then he just needs to find one more prize at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not in a bad position necessarily, just a bit of an awkward one, but not a bad one per se. When you got 3 Decidueye out, you're rarely going to be in a bad position.
Yep. So he puts 3 more Feather Arrows onto the Drampa. That will be KO'd next turn.
Yeah, unless we see Andy come up with something like a Hex Maniac. But either he's really looking here for either Lysanders or Hex Maniacs because this Decidueye, because he hasn't been able to get EVs down safely, he doesn't have Flareon, so this Decidueye is going to be pretty much a wasted attack.
Yeah.
If he's just forced to attack into this Decidueye, that's basically like doing nothing because he's already got 3 prizes on the bench anyway, so it's not like softening up something to be knocked out later. That's not really beneficial. So he's really, really going to want a Lysander would be his top priority here.
Yeah.
And Hex Maniac, obviously not going to be bad when it prevents 60 damage from your opponent, but yeah, Lysander would be what he's looking for.
Ooh. I'm not sure I like this from Jacob.
Interesting. Actually, no, it does retreat to the Vulpix. I don't like that because he's on an odd number of prizes. Yeah. This allows Andy to get 1 cheap prize, so he'll then just be down to 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked to see that Decidueye go active and just take the hit. I think that would have been a better play defensively.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, yeah, you could search and maybe get out a 4th Decidueye, but I don't think that's really the priority here.
No.
But yeah, I mean, also crucially, it means that, yeah, of course, as I mentioned before, Andy can copy Beacon and use that with Zoroark Break. That'll just be devastating.
Well, he'll need to find a Dark Energy if he wants to copy a free attack.
Oh, well, yeah. That's efficiency.
Yeah,
a Dark Energy, to copy a free attack. But yeah, in all seriousness, he's guaranteed he's going to take a knockout.
Yeah.
If he had the Lysander, if he had the Lysander, would he even choose to play it?
No.
Because taking a knockout on a 2 prize attack is really no better than taking a prize on the Vulpix. Yeah. And actually would just make yourself, ends would hit you a bit harder. I mean, you have Iron Guru, so it's not a huge deal, but he probably wouldn't even play the Lysander if he had it.
Yeah.
He's just probably be content with taking the free prize here, and then he needs 1 more attack after that to win the game.
So, Andy, I think he's in a really favourable position here. At this point, he's got to think, how does Jacob win the game from here? So Jacob's going to go down to 1 prize next turn, unless Andy can Hex, as you said. And probably just wants to start powering up that other... Yeah, I guess it doesn't even matter. Because if this Zoroark and the Drampa goes down, that's going to be 3 prizes.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing is maybe sometimes you want another attacker just so... to rotate between attackers, but not sure if that's going to be feasible, but you may as well attach to the bench, there's no harm.
Okay, so he's going to tap a Wonder Tag here.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Possibly.
The Hex wouldn't be in his deck, though.
I think there is a Hex in his deck. And there is. Yeah.
I take that back, there is indeed a Hex in his deck, so that is huge. So no Feather Arrows here. That's going to be really tough, because the maximum he's going to be able to do here is just Razor Leaf for 90 damage.
Yeah.
And
so... And it gives Andy an extra turn to try and find Lysander for the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mind Jack going to take the KO on the Vulpix. Andy goes down to 2 prizes.
Yeah, although, I mean, I suppose hitting for 90 on the Zoroark and then on his following turn having another attack and 3 feather arrows, like, Jacob could win in the turn after this, potentially still. So, Andy would definitely want to try and close out the game with a Lysander in, like, his next turn, one just after this. And that's actually where retreating between Zoroarks might be helpful for Andy. So, let's just say we'll almost certainly see a Razor Leaf here, so he'll hit for 90, and then Andy can switch between Zoroarks, and then Jacob would need a Lysander on one of the damage bench Pokemon and 3 feather arrows. So, Andy parrying up the other Zoroark with the DC was a good decision last turn. So, rotating between attackers could be quite relevant here. So, we see a Versus Seeker from Jacob.
Oh.
Okay, grabbing Lysander. So, he's obviously looking for something. Looking for that Drampa. Interesting. Don't know how much I like that.
No.
Because that was always going to be a free prize.
Yeah.
Free 2 prizes, really, on the board. And because you're always going to have 3 Decidueye out. If you didn't have 3 Decidueye out, that means 1 got knocked out and you'd lose the game anyway. So that was always going to be an easy way to take 2 prizes. So I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah. I think an N had to be played there because you got to feel with such a large hand that...
Yeah, we see the Versus Seeker and Andy's got the Lysander in his deck, in his discard pile. So that's the game. Takes the last 2 prizes. Came back from being, in a bit of a tricky spot early on in the game and managed to close that one out. Good job to him.
So, great work from Andy. Commiserations to Jacob. It's still a great day for him making it into the top 8. So, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the top 4 match. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.